Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the IESF European Women's Counter-Strike qualifiers, where we're deciding who's going to be going to the World Championships at the end of the year in Riyadh. And once again, taking you through the action in this group stage is myself, Lacey, and it's Mr. Nair Kai. Nair, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to it. We've got one less game today, but it's setting ourselves up for the best of threes, for the playoffs, where it all matters most, where quite literally, if you're in the upper bracket, you can win one best of three and you've qualified to the LAN stage. So it's fine margins, and it makes these groups ever more important. These best of ones, there's no room for error. It's all of the rest. So that's the kind of Counter-Strike we want, where there's stakes on the line here.
Yeah, and for some teams, they're in a pretty good position to get through to the playoffs based on how they performed yesterday. Some others, well, it's not looking so good, so they're going to have to bring out their A game today. A lot of favorites prevailed yesterday. There was a couple of games that I thought were, I guess, upsets on paper, and a few that were a lot closer than I anticipated. I think that particularly that first game we kicked off with yesterday, that really set the tone, I felt, for the entire event.
It did. It was a banger. I mean, there's no two ways about it. That derby between kind of Denmark and Sweden was beautiful. We actually have a recap as well, so we can run through all of those highlights of what was a pretty cool day of Counter-Strike altogether. This game, from the get-go, started aggro and continued that way all the way through. And right down to the end, it was so difficult to call who was going to take it.
Yeah, I feel like Sweden just took a little bit too long to arrive in the server, but when they did arrive, they basically just locked Denmark out. I was really impressed by Team Denmark. I think that coming into this, I expected Sweden to be pretty comfortable favorites. So for Denmark to have established such a strong lead going into the second half, I thought they were going to run away with it and upset it. So, really great signs from Ramsden in particular, helming the squad with the Astralis core, really seemed to be clicking well. But as soon as the side swapped, Sweden sort of took it up a gear and locked them out. And Giuliano in particular was an absolute menace with this AWP.
Yeah, some of the, I mean, that round in particular as well was ridiculous. First two, through a smoke, full blind, just insane. Gets a third off the back of it. She was incredible all throughout the day. And now in Group C as well, Sweden find themselves 3 games played, 3 wins, which is great. Denmark are just behind in second place, in all fairness. So it's not the end of the world that they did pick up a loss here. They picked the wins in their other game, which is fine. So they are joint second place currently with Portugal, which is making Group C that kind of group of death, because the Norwegian side really aren't too bad at all either. So it's only top 3 that make it out. It's pretty spicy over there. And running through some of these other groups as well, Poland looked very good. They played 4 games and they've won all 4. Very solid showing from them. Belarus have played 3, won all 3, and Serbia have played 3 and won 2. So they found themselves in that third spot in towards Group D. But Poland, we saw them as well, and just how good were they, Lucy?
Yeah, I mean, no surprises, to be honest, considering this is the only roster that came into this event as a pre-existing, 5-person team. So we did expect them to perform really well. I guess there was some kind of signs against Serbia of playing very, very ego. There was just full confidence, no respect Counter-Strike. And to be fair, it completely worked for them. So I imagine that's probably how they approach the rest of their games. We didn't get to cover them, but given they're all W's, nothing really surprising there. I think the interesting one is that both Denmark and Portugal have got the same amount of wins, which means when they play, which I think is going to be kicking off, not on this stream, but as one of the first games of the day, that's probably going to be the game that decides who comes second in the group, which is really important.
Yeah, and just checking through Poland's results now as well. They've got a 4-4 win against Luxembourg, is what it is. 13-0 against Wales, 31 against Austria, 13-3 against Serbia. So dominance is the word I would put to describe them. Yeah, the Sweden-Portugal game, also very, very important as well. And it started pretty even. It's quite back and forth where we saw the big names over towards Portugal actually start to make a little bit of a look in. I mean, D7 had always kind of felt like guaranteed for 1 at the bare minimum, but sadly it just took a little bit too long for Portugal to get really competitive, and by the time that they did, Sweden were rolling with it. The snowball effect taking place, and that second half they kind of just ran away with it.
Yeah, I was really impressed by Sweden in this game after having watched them on the same map as Denmark earlier. It was a really different game plan that Giuliano brought forward for the team, and it really worked well. It just felt like they were really outcalling and outmaneuvering the Portuguese team. So that was really, really cool. G7, as you mentioned, was phenomenal, but unfortunately didn't have that kind of surrounding cast with her, whereas on the other side, Sweden, everyone was chiming in. This one started well for Iceland. They got a great opening round. The pistol actually, when we watched that, I was like, okay, all right, we're going to have a game on our hands. And unfortunately, nothing really amounted after that. There was a few little moments, but this was basically Melly and Anna killing everybody.
Yeah, simple as, right? Do you know what? We'll give Iceland one thing. One of the names in particular won our hearts, right? Nutella.com. Just the GOAT. Like, there's no two ways about it. One of the best names I've ever casted, I think, in Counter-Strike. Definitely up there. So that in itself was pretty cool, but you are right. You know, for Iceland, started well, and the second there was any sort of investment that came through for Romania, they just ran rampant. Very, very solid game coming out from them. They find themselves second in towards Group B as well. They're actually joint on points with Germany at the top. I think Germany have just a little bit of... Actually, no, Germany have played one less game in the same points. So that's, I think, the big difference maker there. But currently as well, it's actually pretty competitive in that one. You've got Germany and Romania both at the top on 4 points. Just behind them, joint on points as well, is Belgium and Spain on 2. So that fight for basically the top 3 in Group B is going to be very hotly contested coming towards today's game. So they're going to be pretty important to see who actually makes it out. And not only who makes it out, but who goes directly to the upper bracket, who goes directly to the lower bracket, and all of the rest.
Yeah, Group B and Group C are very stacked. So I feel really, really bad for the teams in there because there's some real tough competition because any of Germany, Romania, Belgium, and Spain, I mean, there's all really good players in those teams and ones that you kind of expect the squads to be going deep. We'll be covering Belgium a little bit later. I'm excited to see what they've got to show. I've got big admiration for Moralsis as a caller, so very, very excited to see that team in the server. And also Team France. I think this is the team that we didn't get to see on the stream yesterday, but they've topped their group at the moment. And there's no surprising there when you look at the rosters. We'll go into it in a little bit because we are covering Team France today twice, Neo. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And I can tell you, the French have been cooking. There's no two ways about it. 13-3 against Czech Republic in their opening game, 13-9 versus Bulgaria, and a 13-2 as well to close it out against Turkey. They have been looking very, very good in yesterday's action, so I'm looking forward to seeing them today. Let's take a look at the schedule to see what games we shall be covering here on the stream. We've got, as you mentioned, the French double as they'll be taking on Slovakia in the first, and Romania taking on Germany to follow that up. Back with France as they take on Ukraine, and we're closing things out with Belgium taking on Iceland, and hoping to see maybe a little bit more in the gun rounds out from the Icelandic side. But it should be a cool day of Counter-Strike action.
Yeah, that Romania-Germany game is going to be really important for both of those teams in terms of deciding kind of how that group pans out. So definitely one that we want to be keeping an eye on as we go through the games today. And this first one, I think if France win it, they're guaranteed to go through. Yeah, a lot on the line, I guess, for the underdogs really coming into that one because France have a few opportunities.
I'm looking at it now as well, and I think, if I'm right in saying, France are actually guaranteed to go through regardless. It's just about upper bracket, lower bracket. I think because of their round differential, they should be able to make it through no bother. They haven't played Slovakia yet, which is the only difference, but I think they should be fine. You've got Czech Republic just behind them in second on 4 points. Slovakia joint with Turkey and Bulgaria on 2 points. So because it's that sort of middle to low pack that are all on 2, I think France should be fine regardless, but the big thing, like we always say, it's about going straight in towards the upper bracket. All you have to do is then win one best of 3 and you guarantee your spot. As simple as that, and that's a pretty big thing, of course. So this game, of actually utmost importance to both of these sides. For France, it's about guaranteeing in towards the upper bracket, making sure that you're just so close, reaching distance to the World Esports Championships in Riyadh. On the other side, for Slovakia, this is actually about them even making it towards playoffs. With them, Turkey and Bulgaria all on the same points, all on similar round difference as well. Realistically, wins are needed for any of those sides if they want any sort of chance of making it. And it could even just be the one win that can make the difference.
Well, the big difference is that Slovakia lost to Bulgaria, right? That was an 11-13 loss, and that one's going to haunt them perhaps if they can't convert a win in these final games. And that would be surprising because we look at this roster and we look at these individuals, and this is a team that when we look at on paper, we expect them to be making it through to the playoffs at least. We've got Kat, one of the best riflers in the world, plays on Imperial, the best team in the world. Zia, who is one of the sort of superstars that's upcoming, right? This 18-year-old prodigy AWPer has played for Spirit, has played for Ensathina, and has been a target of a lot of teams just because of that massive firepower she can provide. And then, we've got 3 other players that sort of join them who we haven't seen as much of when it comes to big games. But I was really impressed by Murphy in particular yesterday. I felt that she had a lot of impact, particularly, when it came to the side holds, and those few multi-kill moments from her, which were massive.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm hoping we get to see as well the Slovakia that played in kind of the midway point of that game where it was super competitive and they were actually playing off each other, they just dipped in a little bit of form towards the tail end, and it was costly, and they got punished in a couple of rogue decisions, and by the end of it, nothing they could really do, and they ended up, like you said, having that really close loss, which might actually be the difference maker. Over on the other side for France, a lot of recognizable names here, and no wonder, right? Find themselves 3-3 so far in their opening games, and nobody even getting towards double-digit rounds against them just shows how dominant they are.
Yeah, I mean, this is the team where the individuals barely need an introduction, but I'll do it anyway. We can start from the top. Julie has been around forever and has had a lot of success over her tenure in the Counter-Strike scene. I think what's really cool, actually, about this event just generally is the amount of, I guess, veterans that come back and play in these rosters. So really cool for her to be part of this French team, always has been. Kaede, who I don't know if she's in France at the moment. Obviously, normally she resides in North America because she plays on FlyQuest Red as the AWP player, and most recently the IGL for that team. And then Rachel, who I think she left CS for a little bit, went to Valorant, and we thought we'd lost her forever. Comes back, joins Let Her Cook, and is the highest rated player at the ESL Impact LAN most recently, right? And they didn't even win, and she was still the highest rated player. She outfragged the Imperial squad. Astra, who I thought was criminal that she hasn't been in a team recently, also had that run with Let Her Cook. And then Emerald, who is a player that I think is very underrated. And we again, I haven't seen enough of her lately. So there's a few players here that had different moments in rosters over the last 2 years. And sort of, we lost them for a little bit. And now they're back. And I think we're going to see a lot of success with this Team France.
Yeah. This side looks super scary. I mean, so far probably maybe bar Poland, one of the sides who have the potential to make deep runs. When it's not even a matter of if, really. At this point, is it really? It's kind of when they make it to the World Esports Championships, because that's how good they look. And I think a big thing for them is about going flawless throughout the best of ones. It gives you so much confidence heading in towards the best of threes when we get there for playoffs. So that's the main thing for them. Let's take a look at the V to see where we're going. We had a hell of a lot of Ancients. We had 4 out of 5 of our games yesterday were on Ancient.
Well, guess what? We're going Ancient again.
Who would have thought?
I mean, again, it's the same story that we already know. Slovakia are very comfortable on it. We know Kat likes it, and I think when we look at the French roster and the players there, it's the same thing, right? We've got Astra and Rachel, who, as I was saying yesterday, Let Her Cook, a big part of their running ESL Impact was their ancient prowess and being able to dominate teams on their map pick and on this in a best of one. So they love it to go here. Everyone's happy, I think, with this going here. I almost feel like it's a mistake from Slovakia, and this is what I said when they went against Bulgaria. I felt that, yes, I know that Kat and Zia are very strong on this map, but other teams are really strong on this map. So I think it would have been better for them to avoid this for the same reason they should have avoided against Bulgaria.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's, for me, I'm looking at this and have they learned from the mistakes of Bulgaria? The good thing is they've had a day to prepare for this, or at least a kind of an evening to prepare for this, but it's going to be tough. I think we're really going to have to lean on the big name individuals towards Slovakia to make the difference here. And it's just the difference for me being that there's just a few more of those big name individuals over towards France. And that's where if things go south, they can fall back on it. I need to see a little bit more, or maybe a better kind of macro understanding from Slovakia. Some of those rounds on when they were on the T side of Ancient, they just got a little lost for my liking, where they would slow things down. They wouldn't really know where they're going to finish. They were so spaced out, so they got isolated. These sort of small nuanced things where sometimes the best idea is just playing a little bit more simply and did cost them at times. So France, we know you make any sort of mistakes, judging by how clean their games have been so far, any mistakes you make against the side, they're going to punish you. And Slovakia, they've got to be, I think for me, near flawless to make this one stick.
Yeah, and I think France is going to play this a little bit different to the way Bulgaria did. I'm expecting a bit more structured Counter-Strike from them. Not just because that's just the way these individuals, I think, like to operate, but also we've got... I don't actually know who's going to be calling here, actually, because it could be Kaede, it could be Julie, and it also could be Astra. All these players have taken on that role before, but my expectation is it's probably Julie or Kaede. But regardless, Team France have been playing together for a while now. They've actually played in some other tournaments, so they're really getting a lot of reps in. And they're on boot camp, so they have this extra buff. They're all together right now. I think most of them anyway. I'm not sure if all 5 are, but the core of them is there. I saw a picture, and they've even got a coach kind of on site with them. So like they have all the advantages, and for that reason, I think it's going to be a really difficult game for Slovakia.
Yeah, being on boot camp like that is actually pretty sick. I think it just shows the commitment as well by the team, by maybe the federation or whatnot, just how important this actually is. We are going to be heading underway in just a second. We have a few games happening simultaneously. So we have obviously our game here. We have Croatia taking on Sweden, could be a bit of a heater there. Ukraine taking on Czech Republic, Hungary versus Norway, Bulgaria versus Turkey, and then Portugal versus Denmark as well. That Portugal-Denmark game also could be a bit of a spicy one. So they're all happening simultaneously. So we'll keep tabs on those, see if they shake up anything. But tech pause is done, and we are back underway in towards this one. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a bit of a heater. And it's quite important as well, because Turkey are playing Bulgaria for Slovakia, that is where their hope comes in. Maybe if Turkey then beat Bulgaria, there's a weird kind of round difference thing, but then if Slovakia can beat Turkey, a weird little kind of three-way sort of split between them in terms of points and round difference. That's the sort of hope they're going to need to get that third place spot. Because right now, France, Czech Republic both look very clean.
I think the one I'm particularly interested in is that Portugal-Denmark game as well. I was on Anubis. I wish we were there right now, but instead we're back on Ancient. And it's going to be a straight A execute. Smokes down. Zia defending, tucks in, falls back, and doesn't get away. Caught by Astra as she tries to retreat. Nice entry kill. Now the rotations arrive. 2 players in donut. There is a kit on Salty Patty. Astra's up close. They have utilities still for the T side, so they can decide to burst a smoke if someone tries to defuse it. For the moment, it's just fighting forward, and it's 2 kills for the CTs before KD responds backwards. Cat gets one with the dualies. Now up towards the Bruce and in towards A main. The final 2 Ts lie in wait. Julie uncleared and able to strike for 2 from above, looking for her third. Cat has a difficult fight in her hands. The first flicking down, and she collects it. Kit in front of her, and she'll have time for that defuse.
Huge, just about, but that is a big round to be taken. I think for France, in that instance, when the bomb goes down in that post point, just slightly overfighting. I don't actually hate this setup, but they just get isolated. They need to be going 2 for 1 rather than them getting 2 for 1 in that sort of instance. It's a good attempt. It really is, but great work from Cat right at the tail end here. And my Julies don't do that. I'll say that for free. 1-0 start for Slovakia. A buy coming in both ways, though. France, bomb plant kills can easily suffice an investment coming through. Triple Mac 10 as they prioritize utility for the most part and a double Galil to round it out. Slovakia, fairly solid buy for them with a double FAMAS and the M4 as well. This is the big one, though. Pistols all well and good, but because France have got a bomb plant, the bonus round is actually the important one.
A couple of players that had armor. Cat obviously living, so she didn't have to invest armor, which means she gets that M4, but does mean she's a little susceptible to these weapons. Salty Patty looking for the timing on this swing. The flashbang, good. She does a lot of damage, but can't quite find the kill. Zia able to step through, get a trade. Now trying to push through. Astra, that timing. Oh, it was almost perfect. But just about swinging, they respond and punish her with Julie and Rachel so low. France are going to have a difficult time pulling this one back.
FAMAS, freebie there. Last 2 are so low as well. What do you even do here if you're Julie and Rachel? You tag so low, you really can't take heads-up duels. And then there's the other thing of, is it even worth saving? No. You sort of want the loss bonus at this point, really. 45 seconds to make a decision. I don't really even know what they want to do here. They know their flank's being held for because, well, Kaude just fell in that direction. So where are you even going to go here? You're sort of pincered in all honesty. Julie, having a look. Smoke will come via donut. The bomb is still ramp, and I don't think it got spotted on the crosshair. So Rachel has slipped the net. Should get one for free, and will. But insta-traded, bomb dropped. Smoke comes down, but I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, Cat's going to be like, how did that happen? A little unlucky. I'm sure they can get the bomb down. That's a huge win. But not going to be allowed. So that one's pretty good for Slovakia. The M4 will get picked back up. They do lose, I think, a FAMAS in that fray. No, they collect all the rifles, so they're very happy with the outcome. I think that round kind of exemplifies what I was saying about France's approach versus Bulgaria's approach. Where Bulgaria, I think in that round with 3 MAC-10s and the 2 rifles, would have gone with something very pacey and very pack-based. France played out a bit more defaulty, trying to catch off the Slovakia who have the better buy, and you could see the ideas there, right? Astra had a really good timing to kill a player in middle, but there was just that flashbang that came over at the worst possible time that kind of prevented her getting that kill, because that was the way into the round for France.
It was. Now, they're going to creep through a smoke, a pop flash to come over from Emerald. And actually, no offense, they're going to be given this mid control here. Breaking their own smoke isn't bad work, but bit of tag damage. Farmers could get overwhelmed here, in all fairness. Tech9 swinging can be scary, and that's a double opener. Oh my, we're on for something here.
Salty Patty feeling a little bit of pressure. Zia, the same, and can't convert. Her spray did get one onto Astra, but now they can scale through. They can pick up the M4. Maffy, though, in the perfect position. Oh, but a spray goes awry, and now she's going to run out of bullets. Does she have time for the reload? No, she's going to get run down for sure. Gets a bit of time for Salty Patty to arrive, but this one was meant to be the easy one. Just some pistols, bit of utility for the pop. Now you're in a 1v3. Rachel's picked up a FAMAS. She has armor, which makes it all the more difficult. Throws the smoke for A main.
Feels like
that looks like it missed, but
yeah,
I think she's just saving at this stage.
If she's trying to bait in fights, is the only thing I can think of. You need to be a little careful. You take a lot of damage still to this bomb. It's like 75 plus. So if she takes any tag on the way out, it could be problematic. And now you have to be careful to go tuck yourself in that far corner. You should be fine. You stay up closer, you're probably in a little bit of trouble. But yeah, no, all in all, that's it. Still will go down. You take a lot of damage. People, yeah, it seems I've seen that happen a lot of the last few days. I think people keep forgetting how much damage you actually take to that close plant. So Rifle will fall, despite the kill at the end, and France going to steal away around off the back of upgraded pistols. A couple of Tech 9s, a couple of P250s, rushing towards the fight. And they'll get an important round with nothing gained or saved by Slovakia. They're in a tough spot too, where they can't really buy here. So you're going to have to low buy themselves. They're not, luckily, I guess, in double eco territories. They don't have to force, score for a save, reinvesting towards the next. France should be able to tie this game up.
That's a really cool approach to the half buy for France. So I really like that. Worth noting, I guess while we're on the eco, that Slovakia are playing with the listed substitute rather than the 5 that we saw yesterday. So we have Nikki in instead of Ninduska. So it's one slight variation in the roster today. Okay, he's going to run away. I'm going to check what KDA's status is in her location.
Oh, if she's like in the country. I
she
feel
is.
like
I can
she is, right? Was she at boot camp?
That's all of them are on boot camp. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I thought I saw her post a picture or something yesterday. So that's good. At least she's not on what 100 ping for something plus.
Yeah. So normally she's like playing 100, 120. So not ideal.
Is she
I don't
West
know if
Coast?
I'm not sure, but
yeah, probably like mid or west. I think East Coast. I like last night I was playing with East Coast guys, and it's about 70 to 80, which is it's okay, but it's not great. I think the more mid or west you go, it can go like pretty high, like towards mid hundreds.
I wonder who will see AWPing on this team, because
Okay.
KDA I would assume would be the AWPer. However, you've got a lot of options, because obviously we've seen Astra AWP a lot of the time, particularly her time on NIP. But I think even Emerald is a pretty handy AWPer. So there's a lot of options for this French team as to where they go with the sniper, but none at this stage.
Sure. I guess the question is, do you actually even bring it out onto the T-Side? Some teams seem to really not actually enjoy it because they want the pace of the rifles and the MAC-10s. Like that, for example. There's the first. Another spotted of Zia towards Donut. As the trade falls away. It's good information, at least for France to work with, and they're creeping up ramp.
Rachel again is quite the timing. That Molly, this is the mark. Cat's going to swing. Looking for the multi, and she manages to get the second. That is criminal from Cat. And that's going to be enough, surely. Emerald in 1 versus 3. Those are the players still inside. Spots that shadow, and the smoke gives her a bit of room to work with to find this first kill. Brought down the 20 HP. Doesn't make her job easier at all. Swapping to another rifle. Redeploy on a smoke for short. CTs plays perfectly. They double up, and they swing together. So Slovakia will bounce back off the back of Cat's hold.
Okay, beautiful. For Slovakia as well, that's super important. You come back in with an investment. It's a little bit of a kind of rough one in the sense that it requires MP9, but it doesn't seem to make a difference at all. Really solid. Cat's double to start things off. It is super clean, and the trade off the back of it is nice and easy too. That's what we want to see, where Slovakia play off each other. And at times yesterday, that was one of the things that let them down a couple of times. We have Bulgaria that are able to find these gaps. 2. France back into a by themselves. The AKs to work with, but it's important, I think, for France. At bare minimum, 5 rounds is normally what I would say on a map like Ancient. Anything less, and you could be in a bit of a troubling spot.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to know with some of these teams kind of whether the strengths lie on T or CT side. Because we've definitely seen strong variations. Aggression in A main doesn't quite work out for the CTs, and at the same time, a player was lost on the B bomb side, and Cat, which is a big target to find. Asher can sell the fake, or she can just sit here and they can rotate. Nikki's got a good line for a kill. She can get the multi. There's a way back in, but no, can't convert it. Salty Patty gonna be left alone, and surely you're just saving at this point. She's actually moving close, which if she goes down, it's gonna leave them with literally nothing in the next round, and she will be. So France immediately respond.
Well, France, this is, at least for them, the positive signs. For, where things started pretty decent, just Slovakia, it's kind of back and forth. The gun runs look a tad cleaner for France. I think probably understandable as to why we're this side of flawless so far, and are probably the scariest in this group. We're seeing, at least individually, some of these crisp fights. Cardo looking good. Julie as well. Can they continue? Nate going to come banking off in towards mid, but this time they're going to be given this control without too much of a fight. Just pistols for Slovakia. They're going to stack up 4 of them, one playing out for Red Room. They're going to try to potentially overwhelm. Rachel has snuck up ramp a couple of times. This is probably the one time where you don't want to make a move in that direction.
For all the name value of Kat and Zia, obviously Zia is playing a very influential position in middle, but Kat is traditionally an anchor, and obviously she's an incredibly skilled player, but that does mean that on the CT side, and even on some of the T sides where she plays kind of the more extremity lurk roles in a lot of cases, she might not be able to offer you the kind of opening kills that you kind of want to snowball off. She's more going to be playing responsive, so if you're able to put the pressure on elsewhere and get an opening kill, so you're always in that kind of 5v4 and you're always avoiding Cat at the start, it's going to kind of give you a bit of an advantage versus other teams. For instance, like if you're going up against Sweden, where Zaz plays an incredibly proactive role in the team because she's such an aggressive rifler, her impact is always going to be felt.
For sure. I think it's one of those where you are spot on. It depends how you want to play this, I think, as well, because you could have her playing high-impact roles via maybe B ramp. I think that's probably one of the more contested ones so far. Or rotate through Temple, or rotate through Red Room, I say. I guess it's probably a comfort thing more than anything. I'm not sure how structured the setup is really going to be over towards Slovakia in terms of, is it basically just, this is where I kind of feel comfortable playing, I'm going to sit here, or is it, this is better for the team? I think for France, it's on boot camp. They maybe got advantage on a coach as well that can help them set those sort of things up. Either way, couple of constellation kills in that one. But all in all, still around for France and a lead for them. Back into the buy. Slovakia is the main thing. They didn't get to save that AK at the end, but they still get plenty of money to work with for the rifles, so it's all good.
Very back and forth in some of these early rounds, which is always going to favour the T's. Lucky gets another buyout. Can't string consecutive, then the CT half is going to run away from them. Not even got to see the AWP in Zia's hands. Although again, I guess as a mid player, it's not always the best position to be rocking the AWP.
It's true. Still haven't seen for that C side, so the question still arises, right? Who is actually going to AWP for France? We probably won't even see it at this point, right? There are plenty of opportunities to buy it. Yeah, I don't think we'll just see it on T side. I don't always like the T side AWPing anyway, so I don't really blame it. CT side, I feel like it's such a strength that it has to be picked up sooner rather than later. I'm assuming more or less whoever plays over towards B or Temple, they're the two positions that have the most weight with it. These days, I honestly think a rifle is pretty strong in towards Red Room rather than the AWP itself.
Yeah, it depends how you want to set it up, right? Normally, the AWP has to play a rotate role, so B site's normally the way to go. You can take strong mid control with your rifles. You get a 1-for-1 towards middle, and Counter's cleared all of lane off the back of the smoke and off the back of getting that kill from ledge. So they're going to have the information that A is the hit. 2 players are here. Maffy has a powerful angle at the back box. Not going to be cleared either. So she swings at the perfect time. The FAMAS though does betray her. Only good for the 1. And both these CTs are in Temple. Emerald has heard this, so she's coming over that a player is going to be in Brokey shortly, and the HE4 going to do a bit of damage on the Cat. Now she played the headshot angle, and even Beta and Julie. Cat's in a very uncomfortable spot, but it's Cat, so keep an eye on her crosshair because she is sharp with it. Looking for the swing, gets it, but the bait was perfect, and Julie has just played this so well. Tucks behind the boxes the entire time, lets Emerald take all of the aggro, and then she's able to close it.
Okay, we're now starting to cook a little bit here. Couple of rounds in quick succession, just showcasing how good they are. And it didn't even start well as well, but it's just how they pull that back into their favor. I always think having that kind of lack of elbow presence on the CT side can be very risky. You don't know where they're finishing, and in that instance, they get caught off guard in this sort of early to mid round. But well played, really well played indeed. 5-3, back into a low buy. And this should be France now locking themselves into that bare minimum of a tie, which I think for T-side is more than enough usually on a map like Ancient. Mac 10s are flying around the corner, and they could farm a lot of kill bonus here. There's the first.
Cool round to go for a straight up B hit as well. You know, the economy is going to be absolutely in the bin for Slovakia, and most can be upgraded pistols. So go for something pacey on B where you've not been doing this at all. When you've approached B, it's been kind of lurk plays up ramp. A lot of emphasis has been on mid early on, so pick the perfect time to strike B, lock in that round. Start this T side running away, double the round count of Slovakia. We'll get another chance with the rifles. Chances running out.
Yeah, they haven't got a huge amount left. I've probably got 2 rifle rounds left in this half.
Here's the difference, though. We've got the AWP out for Zia.
It's true. And now we need to see it sing, right? I think this is the big thing for France. They've had no contest at range. They haven't really felt that pressure just yet. And because of it, it is getting to the point where France are so confident in taking these early fights because they know they can swing out at long ranges and not be under too much pressure. The flashing return there from the CT side has kept Rachel at bay. Swinging around the corner, jumping back 10. Can't convert. The trade is good.
That's fine. Rachel goes the Mac 10 for a pacey play to Cave, and she's traded immediately, so that works out perfectly for the T's. They get the space. Force the rotation. And Z is just playing turret on A. Very passive on B as well from Slovakia. They're kind of just sitting back on different angles to get an idea of where France are going to approach. Emerald will discover shortly this AWP. As Astra puts pressure on middle, Zia doesn't have to move and she'll find her target. But if you're France now, you know the AWP was in play in Temple. You've spotted a player in Donut. So you know at most there's 2 present here. And there might even be a rotation because of that pressure.
Going back over towards long. But in doing so, a move coming up through ramp. But she might just catch the timing. It takes a couple of shots. Gives away a position. Misses the window. They'll cross on towards the side. Bomb will come over as well. Resmoke going to come through. Not just yet. Still plumed. Nade behind it. Could bank. We'll do a little bit of chip damage. Flash. Doesn't really make too grand of a difference. Bomb will still go down. Just shy of 25 seconds.
4 versus 3. Main to a 4-on-2 as Maffy runs forward. Gets rid of K&A and a second onto Julie. Astra. 1 versus 4 first. Second. Astra's good for these. Looking for the third, but they swing in tandem. And Zia's AWP hits the shot. A lot of damage done. But it will be Slovakia picking up the round. Comes close off the back of Astra. But a good hold, well, good post-plant retake from Slovakia after France do manage to pull the rotations and get the bomb site.
Close no cigar in that one. 1v4 getting the first 2. There was a moment. The fact that she was able to reset herself as well nearly gave a chance. The good thing is that Slovakia found that if they hadn't, they would have been in a lot of trouble. I think we're talking at that point where France can push up towards even the potential of 8-9 rounds maybe. So that'll limit them. 8 is still absolutely a possibility, but they have to do it through buys here, France, without breaking that CT economy just yet. It's important. Good to see that these individuals are stepping up with the rifles in a way that matters most. I think for Slovakia, they play off each other quite well. They know in that 4 versus 2 as well, they can just trade and do it effectively. They're going to take a little tag. The AWP. Bit of a move being made here through main, but the Shadow's going to betray sooner rather than later.
He drops. Oh, ow. Hey, she's sick.
Wow.
That's really cool. Because that sort of drop with the smoke, that's going to be the common position you're sitting with a rifle to catch them if they try and force through. Really nice piece of util. They're going to walk through this smoke. This is going to be a little tricky. Nikki does catch K&A, but Astra fast on the trade. And Maffy, difficult spot to be in, but still able to get one and good damage onto the follow-up. Puts it even. 3-on-3. Bombs to be planted, smoked off, but they've got plenty of util in this retake.
Cap leading the charge, making that first move in this 3 versus 3. You don't need to peek here, Julie. Just wait for fights to come to you. Buy time is the way to go about it. Bit of util on the CT side, which they're going to try and utilize to get out. They clear. Oh, missed opportunity. Maybe does get swung upon. Julie had to find that fight first time of asking. Second time is not enough. They're both playing out Blue Donut. The pop shot is good. Smoke on towards the bomb. A hold now, and the spray is just a little bit off. They get both in the end. For a moment, it looked a little concerning, but Rachel will close it down with the double. And France will find another round on the ball for them. A 7th, guaranteeing that lead.
I always find it interesting when you put the smoke on the bomb rather than in the mouth of Donut. Because obviously it gives you an easier job spraying if it's on the bomb because your entire field of vision isn't blocked off, so it gives you more points of reference. I guess it's more safe because you're in it if they push through, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's interesting to see it often ends up being on the bomb rather than Donut itself. That one's crushing for Slovakia. They felt like that was definitely doable when it was in that 3-on-3, and they started strong in that retake. It came down to the 2-on-2, couldn't get it done, tried to stick that bomb. Now in this final round, it's not the prettiest. Zia's pretty good. Why doesn't she have a gun?
Yeah.
It's not MR15.
With 1.2k as well?
Yeah, I think that's just a mistake. But might not matter. Okay, it will matter because, again, France put pressure on A and walk on speed.
So he's got an AK, though, at the very least. That's all right. Julie will find one, however. Catching a rotation. Emerald's position is so strong here. Surely gets at least one. And does. Second, maybe too tall of an order in that one. So a quick trade comes through, but the number's still good. A 2v3 post-bomb. Surely France take an 8th hit.
Yeah, only way this goes out of hand is if Cat just does something absolutely insane. But time's ticking and no kit in sight means that Cat has to do it all. K-Day will end her dreams and France will double the score of Slovakia as we swap sides.
Okay, that's pretty solid. It was... Honestly, I think that score feels a little misleading in the sense that some of these rounds are just so close, coming down to clutches, and France just able to win them out. The fact that it's actually quite a substantial gap is probably not an indicator towards how decent at times Slovakia have actually looked. I just think the one thing that was letting them down was that economy constantly getting broken and, of course, unfortunately, being forced in towards those ecos. Now they're on the T side, a little bit less feeble. That T side economy, so potentially something they could work with. A pistol round is so needed for Slovakia. If they want any sort of chance at, I feel like for me, they have to take it. If France take a 9th, they probably get a 10th as well, depending on the bomb plant. And at that point, it already feels like maybe the beginning of the end. No one's here, though.
Yeah, stack from France on the B bomb site. So bomb to be planted. But Emerald's got the smoke and kit. Got a flashbang as well in the hands of Julie. Oh, it goes a little earlier than I thought. No one's actually ready to swing off it. And Kat in the corner. Not quite able to connect that shot. Emerald will find hers, and Kat dealt with eventually by Julie, but still player advantage for France. Nikki being forced off the line, and, well, a lot of damage being done. All these players are so low. Astra's defusing with 10 seconds, sticking it, and, well, it's not going to matter. They run them down, but look at the HP.
My, oh my. Low, close, and all of the rest. The bomb plant is one of those where, again, it's a small, minor silver lining, but it is still a position of utter strength now for France. While it's close and a lot of damage out, it's another round which is going to be the indicator of close but no cigar for Slovakia. And that's the thing that's going to be super costly for them. And that's what they're going to look back maybe at the tail end and say, you know, this game maybe doesn't feel as one side of the scoreline sort of indicates. 9-4 feels like there's not much of a competition, but it isn't the case. It actually has been a pretty decent showing. But at this scoreline, at 9-4, a buy going to come through. Obviously, off the back of the bomb plant. But if you fail this one for Slovakia, France probably find 10, maybe 11-2. You're leaving it all down to potentially one true full buy to see whether you can stay alive. That's how quickly things can fall apart in MR12. That's a good start. The Molotov does come down, though, and a second behind it.
The second's huge from Zia. France. Oh, okay. Now on the T side, this is what I'm saying. I feel like Kat can have a lot more impact. Or she can be a bit more active in the pack. I will love tap with the Mac 10. Oh, what a kill from Kat, though. Rachel and Astra can hold for exits, do some damage. It's a long game ahead of them. So you can keep Slovakia down. All you need to do is win one, and you can break that run. So that's a nice double from Astra. She can get away. Mafi might not let it. Oh,
my.
One shot, 1 HP. The bomb might do it. Yeah.
Actually crazy from that range. Or just that 1 point is all that's needed. Not a bad round at all. Slovakia, super aggro. And I think now they're at a point where they've got nothing to lose. So they may as well play that sort of kind of aggro style. I mean, Cat, that second shot deep over towards CT is ridiculous. The range absolutely lights out. Slovakia still far from done in this one. Still absolutely within the conversation point. Yeah, okay. And a 9-5. There's a forced buy in response out of France, but it's not really the scarier. So the scary thing they're going to do is going to group up.
Yeah, middle stacked. Slovakia, no. Going to be a bit of a weird one coming out for France. And that flashbang doesn't quite do what they hoped. Sort of pops in the mouth, which would have hit the player, I think, to the right, but doesn't hit Salty Patty. Cat gets hers, and it's just these players in mid getting mopped up. I like the idea. Doesn't quite work out. K8, will she be allowed to save this M4? No. So that was the forced investment from France off that play. That's going to break their economy. Slovakia are back in this.
Absolutely. Should make it a 2-round game without breaking too much of a sweat in towards this next. And in the same way that things are so rapidly falling apart for Slovakia, all it takes is a few rounds in quick succession and it's game absolutely back on. And this is what we've got on our hands right now. This is a pretty spicy affair. Well, Slovakia should make it a 7 as long as they don't take too many casualties or drop over an AK, anything of the sort. There's no real way that they take any sort of quote-unquote loss here. For France, need to be careful. The CT side, it can be tough to start, and they're feeling exactly that right now. They're going for a bit of a stack. It might actually get Zia, in all fairness. She's clearing everything, but will she expect all 5 here?
That's a crazy way to play it. Just all sitting back. Well, I think they heard Zia. What's interesting about this is Zia's going to clear all this and spot it empty, and so that might actually bring the bomb back. The idea here is you send kind of Zia as the point woman just to see what's going on, and then you avoid the stack completely, depending on what she finds out. And now they do start to go back to A because she's seen 3 bodies. And Kat will be in charge of trying to stop this getting out of hand. So you want Zia to get as many kills as possible. but better just to not lose anybody at all. And you take a few on the Mackie. 2-round game.
Okay, now we have a conversation where we look for the buy back in. I don't think... No, there shouldn't be enough money to buy an ABB. Maybe Rachel might have enough in the reserves if you were to go for the AWP, and then, but then somebody has to take lesser armor, lesser util. I don't know if those gambles are really worth it. So they are just going to opt with the rifles across the board. This is the important one. Slovakia win round number 17, and they probably should tie this game up 9 apiece, and that puts absolute pressure right back on the shoulders of France. This is sort of a must-win round for France, in all honesty.
The fight's in Jaguar. Rachel doubles up. Looked like Zia had a good opportunity for a swing, but that's your 2 heavy hitters removed early from Slovakia, and all it cost you was 1 player. So you'll take that. Might be way back in if Maffy can find this kill onto Emerald, but that's such a cheeky angle to play. Surely Emerald's guaranteed this one. Oh, peeks under it. Maffy being very thorough on the clears. And that's going to give a lot of space on A. A smoke to CT. KD arrives, doesn't spawn anyone on that cross. Salty Patty catches this lurk in the smoke. She has the bomb, so this fight here goes either way. Julie caught out. No, able to get one before she's traded immediately. And a 2-on-2. This one could go anywhere.
Yeah, what is happening right now? It's just all over the place. And in a weird way, this might actually work in Slovakia's favor. They've now grouped up. They've got the bomb to work with. Going back, in all fairness, towards A here. Very slow. There is one via Temple. The other checking around towards B. Spots nothing. Spotted. Couple of tags. County. She's going to drop a smoke. Tries to get out behind this. Needs to try her best to buy some time for the rotate to come through.
Yeah, that smoke's just going to be annoying as well because you're not going to know exactly where KD is, so you're not going to feel necessarily comfortable planting. But Maffy finds a nice angle where if KD tried to walk through that smoke, she'd be punished. And instead, she's just going to come out around the edge of it, get the kill. Salty Patty has to come up clutch. A 1v2 versus hers. She knows where KD was. Falls back behind default. Little flash dribbled forward. KD eats that one, and Salty Patty clutches it out for Slovakia. That round was all over the place at the start, but in the 2-on-2, Slovakia come out ahead.
That's a mega round to be taken. That really is going to make such a big difference. These probably should be Slovakia tying this game right back up, and potentially even France getting ever closer to their first defeat so far in this qualifier. And we said for Slovakia how important it was for them to be picking up wins today. They're on the cusp of playoffs, but also are not being joint with Turkey and Bulgaria on point, all on 2. Getting a win here wouldn't guarantee, but it get them so close to those playoffs, and potentially even as well directly to the upper bracket. That's just how quickly things could go in their favor. 8-9, and man, that is such a big one to be taken.
It's an interesting way to throw the Insta. This is not how I throw it. I throw it on that leaf that's kind of directly south of this, like that's sticking up a little bit. She's so interesting. What is she lining it up on? That one looks way harder than when I threw.
So it lands.
Here's a better way to do it.
It does land, in all fairness.
It lands, but that looked like it was a bit harder to line up.
Only issue I'm considering, just seeing where... Oh, again, maybe never mind. I saw Asher was playing just in the corner of it. I wasn't sure whether maybe there was a gap in that one that she was trying to use, but she just waited for you to on hand. Either way, they're grouped up towards ramp. Behind that smoke. Rachel going to stick up close. 5-7 at this range potentially could be pretty scary.
Yeah, the re-smoke is going to be annoying, but Slovakia stick to their guns, and France basically have locked this off, hoping that's going to send Slovakia elsewhere to get information, whether that's A or mid, and that's where they can have more bodies. But Slovakia are going to be patient. Kat's just tucking her head down so that she can pop up and trade if needed. Slovakia should be rewarded for this patience, but they are playing in the dark where they have no idea where any of these French women have gone. Good molly. Forces Emerald forward. The flashbang as well makes that impossible for her to do anything. Rachel moves up to cave, and Nikki able to catch Julie on the ascension. So they managed to circumnavigate these pistols pretty handedly.
That's fine. Oh, 5-7. And an AK picked up. Still difficult, but not impossible, I guess. The one thing that makes it just so difficult is no one can rotate over. Rachel might just want to try and keep the 8K alive. Good swing, good find. Looks for a second. I think now, with time so far ticked, we've just got to get out of there. 8K stayed alive is okay, but this is Slovakia tying this game up, and this one now becomes super difficult to call.
I mean, the momentum's with Slovakia, certainly, with these T rounds. It's basically just been the one that they've lost. 2 AKs recovered for France is huge, though. That will allow them to buy an AWP if they want to. Rachel can drop one, so she is going to, and it is going to be K&A wielding it. So that answers that question, which I think was the obvious one. Astra has been a pretty solid rifler, so kind of, I guess, a bit more of a hybrid player.
Sure.
Really, whereas K&A, I think, is more of a traditional AWPer. So not too surprising to see her run it.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, they really need this AWP to get active as well. France are struggling. It's always about it. This CT side has been a little bit feeble, and actually going 2 for 1 there as well isn't exactly the best of starts of France. Slovakia, numbers advantage, and now Cat, while taking damage, is still falling away alive.
Yeah, and this T side was in Salty Patty come up with the 1v2, and Nikki getting a clean opener. Cat and Zia unravel the remaining CTs on this side of the map, which means that K-Day, yeah, she's got that AWP, but not much she can do with it. And you can't really fault her. I think she had the far right spawn, so why not go for the A peak? It's pretty much guaranteed to kill if they go A, because if she's playing the close angle, which is always going to get you 1, and then you can fall back. But if they don't go A, it becomes a little less useful. So Slovakia are going to take the lead in this game. This T side is really something else, and I think a big part of it has been Cat being able to be active.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This has been pretty substantial. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I think Cat's getting super. I mean, 22 and 14 is pretty ridiculous. And there's a couple others who are having their impact. The question is, does Cat clear this? Oh, no AWP saved for you, and actually will be picked up as well for the T side. Everything that can go right at the moment is going right for Slovakia. First had to crack in towards double digits. We're looking at them taking all the control in this game at the moment. This is a really concerning point that we find France in, where, they put up such a good first half and they just have not going at all in towards the CT. They can buy back in, which I guess is the main thing for them, but this is a pretty tough spot. Don't win this round, Slovakia probably go maybe even all the way towards map point.
Okay, they cut enough money to allow that investment. He's very cave early to prevent swings down into lane, although they're not contesting it. It's a bit of a stalemate of utility, keeping everyone at bay at different points. The AWP again posts up in the same position. It was never revealed, so she can kind of have that element of surprise at A. And this round, she might be rewarded with it. We do see a few players posted up over this side.
So quiet, isn't it? Minute on the clock. France not wanting to overfight. Something they've been testing the waters with. We're showing some aggression in these early rounds, but because they're losing the Angels, not really wanting to give anything now. The question is where the Slovakia want to finish. They've got good inroads towards both sides here. Might all be off the opening kill in all fairness. Cat going to try and find it. Towards mid, no presence. Slovakia will get this control for free. The Molotov's decent. Emerald's in trouble and dead. That's a big find.
Yeah, such a good Molotov. Prevents the possibility of the trade as well. Emerald's got no choice. This is still an interesting setup with Astra on the close angle. If Rachel jiggles this, Astra is completely undetected. But if they don't go to B, it's not going to matter. But on A, K-Day's AWP lies in wait, and it strikes 2 for 1. Falls back to Temple. Molotov will force her back. Great utility continues from Slovakia. Bomb just being planted. Julie swings. Julie finds all of them. Everyone's dead in a second. That looked like it was going to be such a strong position for Slovakia, where they push back K&A. Everything's set up for Cat to come lurk and to close it, but they just crumple.
It has to be said as well, the decision to stick the plant despite the pressure, I guess, that was there it's a bold one. And it's one that ended up being very, very costly indeed. I mean, credit to France. They needed that, and they'll take it. And it will keep them afloat, tying this game right back up. And at the moment, it feels like we don't know where this one's going to swing. And for me, the winner of this game is the first to break the economy. But just the fact that Slovakia have so much built up, surely the onus still leans in favor of the T side right now. For France, they win that. I think a large portion of that comes down to a bold decision to stick that plant rather than tap and fight as the CT swung, because they hadn't bought enough time for Cat to rotate in the back lines. The way France, it's a sigh of relief that they're still in this, but it's still a long road to recovery.
Yeah, I mean, that was the round, right? That could have ended it. Double smoke. So, bit of a miscom. Julie going to go undetected. Katie hits a shot through the smoke. That's unreasonable. You kind of want Julie just to get this first kill, but if she goes later, oh, that's terrible timing. If Maffey just walked around the corner, Julie would have gone for that first kill, and then the trade could have been there. Instead, she gets a double. HE is going to sting a little bit, but she can stay alive behind the smoke. Cat's prowling and can't get it. Julie doing everything in this round in middle. Slovakia were on the brink of breaking France and potentially winning out this map, but now instead, France are looking in the perfect position to at least take the lead back. Unless Zia has something to say. No, ahead of the molly is Julie, and she gets her 4th in the round. Might even find herself the A. Salty Patty, 1 versus 4. Julie has moved aggressively towards Covey. So we might just see that ace. She comes out at the right time. Oh, there it is. All 5 for Julie.
Fair play. Really, really good isolation of fights. And I think for the early part of this CC side as well, for Julie, it's been just a little bit quiet. Hasn't been able to deliver on as much form. Hasn't been able to make it stick, at least at the moment. And that's going to make a big difference for me. Really, really will now put France into a super strong position where they know that they have the momentum, the individuals to find this. They're 2 rounds away. They're 1 ahead of Slovakia. And yeah, the T-side buy right back in. But France are taking these last few as well actually quite cleanly. The retake, quote unquote, that we call it, where they just killed the 2 sprayed down after the bomb goes down in that couple of rounds ago, is a big round for them. And this one, similar vibe. We have attack pause. And I think in particular, Slovakia do need a conversation here, because at this rate, could be France just pipping them at the post at that final hurdle for a continued flawless run in this groups.
I feel like I've actually not seen a lot of attack pauses come through so far, but not every team has that benefit of the coach. And obviously on boot camp, you can get a lot out of that. Not to mention, he, will probably be signaling that he wants that pause to talk.
True. Very true.
Although I'm not sure exactly what the rules are.
I always wondered this, right?
Like it's different for different events.
TOs, right? Yeah.
They might just be allowed to talk the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Catch me like a secondary IJO in a way. I mean, that's what it used to be like back in the day before they changed it, which itself was a wild time when you think about what it's like now. But yeah, who knows? I'll have to find out that one. But I think having that coach and having the ability to just take a breather, I think is super important. France in particular on boot camp, it really helps. And then obviously for Slovakia, they know that they did so well in this T-side to make it competitive, but it's just where they are now that they're in a slightly tougher spot.
Slower from Slovakia. They know what's on the line. Kade is playing a more active line from Donut where she can peek middle. That smoke doesn't go, I think, where she wanted. We'll actually give the T's a bit of space to work with. Unless that is an intentional smoke, but I doubt it. Because it gives Nikki a lot of room to play around if she wants to. Yeah, you can see the CT's a little worried about a player behind it now. They brought a lot of eyes towards middle, but Slovakia are very patient in their approach. Kind of preying on an aggressive peak from France that can be punished, and Instead, with nothing given up, they're the ones that have to take the fight. Zia doesn't need the AWP in her hands, but she can hit a shot like that. Emerald in donut though. She can fight back for them. A swing and a double up from her. The Flames as well make this hard to get in, and Julie slips into the side straight into Maffy's crosshairs. A smoke forward to CT, bomb to be planted. And a 2 versus 2. Astra making her way to donut where we have the double up from the T's on the other side. Smoke gives a little bit of cover as they cross. It all comes down to the timing that she hits. She doesn't. Maffy's able to collect Rachel, low HP from the earlier engagement. Has a kit, but no smoke to isolate Donut. And in fact, only one player, I think, confirmed in that position. Oh, the HE. That is brutal. And that's a big round from Maffy.
Massive, massive round to be taken there. Slovakia, they absolutely needed that. And the individuals, again, I mean, first fight, brilliant stuff from Zia. It gets traded immediately, but Emerald's double felt like it might have bought enough time, but it just wasn't. Swinging out from a CT when they fall, the rotate is just too far away that they have time to set themselves up. And now, game absolutely on. 2 decisions, really, in this one of, does this get settled 13-11, one of the 2 ways, or more rounds after regulation needed? Is overtime on the cards? And the way these 2 sides are playing, that potentially might even be the case. This is a big one. Slovakia keeping themselves alive like that, though, massively important. Rachel avoids the flash, swings behind it, deals a bit of damage, but takes some herself. Big opening double there for Astra. Hang on, game on.
Yeah, looked like they were going to try and exploit space up with Rachel exposed in cave. They thought maybe they could catch that timing up ramp after getting that first kill. Bit of damage onto Julie. Kat's trying to force her way forward. Smoke not going to do too much, and Kat, given another opportunity, can't quite hit her on the cross. Player advantage for France. Slovakia have good space in middle. This response is nice, though. They're going to smoke forward onto A main, and look like they're going to double aggressive push into Donut. Even if they fall, you're never expecting Julie towards A main. And Emerald, she just wins the fight. Nikki gets one back. Beautiful swing from Rachel. Bomb given over. And Kat has to clutch.
This is hard. In a 1v3, 35 seconds. Molotov will give a fight here. It should. 180? Hang on. No, surely not. Rachel's so low. Does she clear? She does, and she finds it. Kat's still full HP. I mean, low HP, I might say, but this is still on. 4 points of HP is a possibility. A flash and an nade and sells the fake away, but no movement taken here. Still on the spot, and Julie will see it off. Close. So damn close, but not enough. The 1v3 right down to the end with her 4 points of HP, but any sort of attack and she was dead, and France find match point.
Oh, I thought Kat had that when she comes back towards A. Julie's just sitting on the line, and Kat swings it aggressively. You think that maybe there's a chance, but Julie just sort of falls back a little bit. I think she heard a sound cue as Kat started to approach, and she's then able to re-swing. That's so close. It does mean France now on that point. They actually have a worse buy because of the damage that Kat inflicted in that round. So not out of the woods yet. We could actually get our first overtime, potentially.
Yeah. The way things are looking. Slovakia, they just never seem out of this, do they? No matter what France throw at them, they never seem in I mean, I guess they never seem defeated, right? They've backs up against the wall, yes, but still up for the fight. MP9 in the hands of Emerald and Rachel, but the full belt to Utah around it is actually pretty positive. I think it's safe to say, though, a lot of onus on Julie, Astra, Coyote to get super active in towards this one. They cannot allow Kat to keep just running rampant.
Good damage on the Kat as well. You've weakened the heaviest hitter. Oh, Julie spams Zia, just spots her falling back in the smoke. Clean opening kill, and despite the lack of utility and the lesser weaponry, France find themselves in a great position. Kat's going to maybe be sent to just see if she can find something. Smoke. Gonna sell Rachel's position, but it's all about the bait setup. In fact, Rachel's gonna get aggro. Cat's Molotov goes to one side. Now Rachel really baiting this corner. Goes down, even gets a kill on her way out. So Astra going to be completely undetected, and Astra might just end the entire game right here. The spray almost connects onto Cat. And a 2 versus 4 with Cat on no health, and Cat, the only one remaining. Given opportunities with such little health, this clutch just simply not going to happen. Astra confirms it. France take the game.
Oh my god, I mean, down to the wire, right down to the final round. We've got the full 24, similar towards our first game yesterday. The same thing happened here today. Credit, I think, has to be given at time. I mean, Kat in particular was just incredible. Was here at a couple of moments as well. Slovakia on that T side looked considerably more comfortable in terms of how they were playing off each other. The synergy was actually really clean, but France just have that little extra about them. They were taking those pauses, and both tag pauses they called as well off the back of them to take the round. I mean, you can just see where maybe I think the systematic kind of depth around this side is something that really did help them. But they were made to work much more than any other team has made them work so far for a win. They still are flawless, but I think that one, it's a win, but with a real big sigh of relief.
Yeah, I think Slovakia are going to feel a little rough about that one, because that felt like it should have been their game. That T side was so strong, and so many rounds just came down to the wire. I mean, if Cat wins that clutch, I think they take the game. That's how close it comes down to. So Julie has a lot of impact in winning that one for the French side. There's also a couple of rounds where they got the opening kill as well and weren't quite able to convert it. So France doing a good job of being able to come back from those rounds when things do start to slip away from them, and they are the ones that take the lead. So that's our first game of the day, guys. We've still got more action coming up, though, so don't go too far, because our second game will be coming to your screens very shortly.